Hello, everybody. I wanted to talk to you about something important. It has to do with respect, okay? So our Creator, Adonai, He loves us, but like a parent, He has a standard, okay? So I'm going to start reading to you certain things, okay? So right now I'm in Isaiah chapter 54, verse 17, okay? Okay, it says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. He's talking to his people, okay? And every tongue which rises up against you in judgment, you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Adonai, and their righteousness is from me, says the Adonai, okay? So, I'm reading about this for a reason, because, to live a life of righteousness is a challenge. We live in a world that has a lot of sin, okay? Since sin has been on the earth, it's been a challenge to live righteously. So can you imagine if people attempt to live righteously and then have the world to go against them to try to make it a challenge to live in a righteous way, okay? Now, when I read this Bible, see how big this Bible is? When I read this Bible, half of the words in here are beautiful and life-giving, and the other half are judgment and wrath, okay? It may not be half and half, okay? Okay, so some of it might be instruction, some of it might be wrath and fury, okay? So as I stated, from the beginning of time, from the Garden of Eden, there's been a choice of doing the right thing versus the wrong thing. And for too long, for the past so many years of humanities and modern humanity, I would say for the past, just say at least 30 years, there's been a slow backsliding of the people from trying to be a righteous people to becoming very, very worldly, to the point where the amount of righteous have become a small remnant and the amount of wicked have become very, very great. So let me reread this to you right now, okay? It says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Adonai, and their righteousness is from me, says the Adonai, okay? So the Adonai, like, he holds his peace, okay, a lot. He sees wickedness go forth. Sometimes he says, go ahead and go serve your idols, and when you get punishment, don't say anything to me. That's the way sometimes he is when you're reading what he's saying. Sometimes he's like, I see you sinning against me, I'm going to get you back. And he might have some type of vengeance against people who are doing wickedness. But there is judgment in this book, this Bible. It has judgment in it, okay? And because we're supposed to preach these beautiful words that are supposed to be so nice and not offend people, you might not realize that this Bible has judgment in it, okay? So I'm just letting you guys know we're supposed to obey the Creator's word and do what's right. And if you look in Ecclesiastes, the book of Ecclesiastes, when I read from there, all I ever see is vanity, okay? It's like everything in this earth is vanity. Go to work is vanity, okay? So the writer is a preacher who was talking about the vanity of living, okay? And it's not that living is a bad thing. He's just talking about vanity. When I think about vanity, I kind of think about this pharisaical way, where on the outside everything looks good, but on the inside, their worship toward the Creator is not real, okay? So I'm here, I'm just a regular person. Now, humility is valuable in the kingdom of righteousness, okay? Pride is an abomination before the Creator. So in this scripture here, I was reading Isaiah 54, verse, Verse 17. And it's saying the heritage of the servants of the Adonai. The servants of the Adonai are humble people, number one, okay? The people who are sitting there in pride probably are not the servants of the Creator. Because how can you be full of pride when you're serving a Creator who's so much grander than you, who's having mercy upon you, okay? Don't forget that you are human, number one. Number two, which system sets up a society where it's the vain ones who have the power, and then those who are humble and doing the right thing have no power? That's kind of an upside down situation. Now, I'm not talking about simple things like, okay, when I was reading the scripture earlier, I was talking about, I think it's Judah who was serving the Creator in pretense. Like, it appears like you're walking in righteousness, but if you search the person's heart, because if the heart is a wicked thing, when you search the person's heart, you find out that they're really only doing it for show, but they're not doing it from their heart. Okay? I'm going to look at Isaiah 56, verse 1. Okay? Thus says the Adonai, keep justice and do righteousness, for my salvation is about to come, and my righteousness to be revealed. Blessed is the man who does this, and the Son of Man who lays hold on it, who keeps from defiling the Sabbath and keeps his hand from doing any evil. Okay? Let me see. I'm going to see how far I'm going to read down here. Okay. So, I'm going to stick with this Isaiah 54:17. The heritage of the servants of the Adonai is to condemn those tongues that are rising up against you. Too long have the servants of righteousness been judged and condemned and mistreated and abused and bullied. It's time for the righteous ones to stand up in our power, okay? Because Adonai cares about his humble people. He has mercy on his people. His kindness will not depart from his people. Okay? Everybody really needs to keep his commandments and do the right thing. But I can't help but to stress that there's a group of people who have been left out and neglected. His remnant people. Okay? And so I'm trying to give power back to the remnant of righteousness. Because it seems like, for some reason, the tongues that have risen up against us in judgment have not been condemned. They're steady condemning us, but we're so busy doing our own work that we're not raising up a standard against what is going on, okay? So I think I wanted to lay out some other scriptures here, but I think that I made my point. My point is, this book has some blessings in it, it has some curses in it, right? It has some fury, it has some mercy in it. But you need to know the heart of the Creator. And you don't need to blaspheme his servants. You don't need to abuse his servants, because he will come down with wrath. However, he says if you are humble toward him, he will be humble toward you. If you have strife against him, he will have strife against you. If you're messing with his people, he's not going to tolerate it. He said, do his prophets no harm. Don't mess with his prophets. Don't mess with his servants. Stop judging people that you have no right to judge. I'm going to read this one more time. No weapon formed against you, the servants of righteousness, shall prosper. And every tongue which rises against you in judgment, you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Adonai. Excuse me. And their righteousness is from me, says the Adonai. Okay? Their righteousness may not come in a pretty little package. Their righteousness may have come from hard work, diligent work. It may not have looked pretty, but they tried to do the right thing. That is what the Creator wants to honor, is doing the right thing, walking that narrow path. And so, guys, forgive me if today, this video, my voice has sounded a little bit, forgive me, because I just wanted to say this, because I don't think people speak enough up for the servants of righteousness, the anointed, the prophets, whomever they may be, those humble people who do his work, who get abused by those in positions of power. And it's really not fair. And it's time to raise up a standard and say, no longer will the prophets of righteousness, will the anointed ones be abused. It's time to bless the righteous person who's trying to bring you a word. You don't have a right to condemn them. They have a right to condemn you. So everybody, please be careful how you treat the prophets, the anointed ones. If you see in the Bible the ways that the righteous ones were abused, and then you see the wrath that comes after that. So please do not abuse the prophets, the anointed ones. Don't be vain. Don't look at outward appearance. Listen to the content from which they're speaking, or of which they're speaking, and stop being so vain, because there's more to life than vanity. There's much more to life than vanity. And so I'm sorry, but I just had to speak my piece on that. So for the people who are good subscribers. I really appreciate you guys for listening. Like I said, I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little bit hoarse or something like that, but I just wanted to say that, okay? Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, share, or comment.